Hard Drivin was put out by Atari.
Yes.
And it was hard.
Yes.
This game had one of the first 3D polygon driving environments, and it also had its own custom-built simulator cabinet.
Hard Drivin, its sort of claim to fame was that it was like a realistic driving arcade game. It had the full like clutch and shifting.
It's one of the first driving games I remember actually having a manual transmission where you actually had to time the clutch like a real car. It wasn't just like, you know, you'd actually have to have the right amount of pressure.
That's great, but when you're like, you know, a little kid, you can't play the game.
At a time when most games like Outrun and Pole Position were using scaled 2D graphics, this game was using filled polygon 3D graphics.
It had this early polygonal feel. There was just something very cool about it. You know, you see this 3D world and you want to kind of explore it. You want to see the loop. You want to see the jump. You want to see how fast you can go on the speed course. And I never got to do any of that.
No, I could barely stay on the road.
Shadowgate was a point-and-click adventure game originally released on the Apple Macintosh and later ported to the NES.
You have a cursor, which is, you gotta click things, and that's cumbersome a little bit with an NES, you know, control pad.
You know, you would have options that you could choose before doing something else, either activating an item in your menu or touching something on the tiny box that was your playfield on the screen.
The goal of the game is to defeat the Warlock Lord, who's trying to summon the demon behemoth out of hell.
In Shadowgate, it's very easy to die at just about any turn.
You have to go through Castle Shadowgate solving puzzles, and you absolutely have to have a torch, otherwise you fall down and break your neck.
Investigating the wrong stone or the wrong item on screen will lead to a rather grisly depiction of your death.
You're probably gonna die, and it's probably gonna be funny. Actually, the NES version is surprisingly not censored.
It does a wonderful job with music and flavor text of creating a very gloomy atmosphere of a castle that you want to explore.
There were multiple sequels, including one on the Nintendo 64, which I could not get anywhere. I couldn't get out of the first room.
For the masochist or the PC gamer, something like Shadowgate on the Nintendo was a welcome change of pace from all the different platformers, and the port works out surprisingly well once you get used to moving an arrow cursor around with the D-pad.
Populous was a real-time strategy game originally released on the Amiga, and it's considered the first God game.
It is a simulation game, kind of like SimCity.
So in Populous, you're like making worlds in a book somehow.
The game has 500 levels in which you try to increase your followers and destroy the enemy followers.
I don't think I was ever really too good at it because I was way too fascinated by all the different powers you could use to kill dudes.
Your divine power, or mana, increases when you get more followers, and then you can use more powers.
So instead of, like, you know, flattening the land so that, you know, your populace could grow and become better, I was charging my lightning bolts so I could just shock a dude and laugh at him, or charging up my meteor shower and just raining fire on everyone.
Unlike SimCity, Populous wanted to have an ending, so the two sides at the end, epic battle.
Populous is perhaps Peter Molyneux's most well-received game, generally, I would say.
The game was popular enough for there to be several sequels and even a spin-off.
Holy freaking shit! DuckTales is the best video game ever made.
That's debatable.
Nope, no it's not.
All right, we've already talked about some bad licensed games. Let's talk about a great one.
Seems like it'd be strange. I mean, yes, DuckTales was a popular show at the time, but why would it make such a great game? Capcom just nailed it ridiculously.
You play as a geriatric duck who attacks people with a cane, eats ice cream to restore his health, and doesn't wear pants. You can't make this stuff up.
Right from the beginning, you could go to any level you want. It's just like the character select screen from Mega Man, so you can just skip levels.
What made DuckTales interesting, from a gameplay perspective, was the very unique control scheme that the game used, which was Scrooge McDuck's cane doubled as a pogo stick.
Scrooge McDuck's cane is one of the coolest weapons in games. I mean, you can smack stuff, you can hit guys with it, you can jump on it like a pogo stick, you can pogo it up, and that's how I got through every level. I just pogo through everything.
And it's another Capcom game that just had amazing music. Every level had fantastic music.
And people remember mostly that the Moon music, because a lot of times that's regarded as some of the best music on the entire console.
It has that one song everyone's obsessed with. I don't know why everyone's so obsessed with this song. There's a lot of great chiptune songs out there. That's not the only chips you saw out there.
This was like the cartoon on your NES. I mean, it was the right tone, the right feel, the right wacky enemies.
There was connections to the series. You know, you had Huey, Dewey, and Louie showing up. You had Launchpad taking you back to Duckburg if you wanted to drop off your money.
And they also made an option where you could end the game with $0 because they said otherwise it would be very unscrooge-like.
And it would kind of pave the way for, you know, other Capcom Disney games to follow.
There's a reason why it was remade and re-released over 20 years later. It has a special place in people's hearts and also is, frankly, a lot of fun still to play today.
DuckTales, woo!
Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
Captain N, the Game Master.
Man, was 1989 like the golden era for video game cartoons? You had two that came out this year.
The Super Mario Bros. Super Show was a part live action, part cartoon show that was based on Super Mario Bros. 1 and Super Mario Bros. 2.
Alright, it's campy, and it's really, really crazy. You go back and watch that now, you're like, what did this even have to do with Mario?
The show starred professional wrestler Captain Lou Albano as Mario and actor Danny Wells as Luigi.
Sure, we got lots of characters from the games, we saw the power-ups and stuff, but there was always these really weird stories to go along with it.
Why does Toad have this bizarre voice? This is not what anyone pictured Toad's voice to be.
Right over there! Lake Spaghetti Sauce!
They always had special guests drop by.
Like Nicole Eggert from Charles in Charge, for example, would be on the show.
Lou Albano also did an ending theme for the show called Do the Mario.
Swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go do the Mario.
As far as cartoons based on games go, this one wasn't bad.
I did love the Zelda segments.
So you had Super Mario Brothers cartoon like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but then Friday, it was a new episode of The Legend of Zelda.
I can definitely tell you that the Zelda cartoons were an abysmal mess.
I like the Zelda cartoons. I thought they were fun.
It was more adventuresome. You know, there was a little bit more to build off of in terms of storytelling when it came to Legend of Zelda versus Super Mario Brothers.
Link was a whiny little brat, and the princess was a whiny little brat, too.
This cartoon gave Link a voice. He was kind of annoying.
Looking good, princess. Especially from this angle.
And he had his catchphrase. Well, excuse me, princess.
It was a little creepy how he's always trying to grab a smooch from Zelda.
He's always trying to get a kiss. Zelda would never put out.
Kiss me.
No! I just remembered! This is all your fault!
My fault?
Yes!
Captain N, the Game Master.
Captain N, the Game Master, involved a guy who could get pulled into his Nintendo.
The character Captain N first appeared in Nintendo Power, which was a comic that was created by Randy Studdard.
Almost none of these characters actually really resembled what they were supposed to resemble. Mega Man was short and green.
And he talked like this.
Yeah, and Simon Belmont was
a wuss.
A wuss, a pretty boy with a big poofy do.
Let's make up this a fake princess, Princess Alana, who's just like, well, you know, teenage boy's wet dream, I guess.
You have Mother Brain as the bad guy, the primary bad guy. You have King Hippo as one of the sidekicks, and Eggplant Wizard.
Yeah.
And then those are your three primary, and Dr. Wily would pop in every now and then as well.
Mother Brain was a good pick for a boss, and she was voiced by Levi Stubbs, the same guy that did the voice of the plant in Little Shop of Horrors.
Giving me a perfect opportunity to strike a fatal blow at the heart of Videoland.
And then eventually Game Boy was sent in as a not subtle product placement.
But it was neat to see them pull these different licenses together and, you know, try to give you a cohesive adventure every week.
It was neat because Captain N used, you know, accessories from the Nintendo.
Yeah, he had a zapper.
He had a zapper, and then he had a Nintendo control pad that made him do these fantastical abilities.
Captain N is chock full of video game references and characters from other Nintendo games. It's just good stuff.
It wasn't great, it was not great. But considering what kids will watch and what they did watch back in the day, it could have been worse. Could have been the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. I'll say that.
And now the gaming innovation for 1989.
Oh, well, that's where the flute is. Ah, hello. This is Rue for the video game innovation of 1989. What new technology graced the world and changed the face of gaming forever? Exterminator by Premier Technology was the first video game to use completely digitized graphics. From clay model bugs to digitized roomscapes, you basically had to exterminate the crap out of an entire household. The technology was used to more popularity a few years later in games such as Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 4. That's the video game innovation of 1989. And don't forget, it's not just nostalgia, it's science. I should really put something in this one day.